Nice basketball team you guys have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shay all the way, man.
Yeah, they're representing. No question of that.
Oh, yeah.
Gentlemen, welcome to Oklahoma City.
Thanks for having us.
No, thanks for being here.
Great town, and I got a filet mignon in here and another one going in a couple hours.
Great. Tell me where you got it later. I'm always
I will.
Yeah, I always love for a good steakhouse.
Yeah.
So, well, thank you much for joining us here this weekend. And what I'd love to do is go into your origins on this amazing series. How did you each? What was the casting process like for each of you?
You were first. You want to go first? You were part of it before I was.
I was? Oh, really? Okay, so
That's why I called him first.
I just went in for a guest star role for the pilot, so I didn't have to go through all the hoops that everybody else did. Like, the casting situation is you read for the casting people, and then if you're good enough, they deem you worthy to go to producers, and then if they like you, you go to a network audition, and then it's a studio level, so it's like 4 levels, and it all gets very nerve-wracking. It takes a tremendous amount of time. And I just skated in with like one audition, and they booked me for the pilot, and it kind of worked out with Lauren. And the pilot was really an audition for me, like a heat check. And they offered 2 shows, and we said no, and I freaked out. And I said, say yes, for God's sake. And they offered 4. And my manager told one of the producers to go to Warner Brothers and get me a deal, and he did, and I got a deal, and I was on the show with one audition.
Nice.
I skated in the back door, man.
It doesn't happen like that usually.
Jersey style, right? That's how we do it in Jersey.
That's funny. I also came in through the back door of the show. I was cast. I did the first episode after the pilot, so I was on the second episode overall, and I played the name of my role was DSL installer, and for you kids in the audience, that's something that people used to need to use the internet back 50 or 60 years ago, whenever that was. Yeah, I went on and I played the DSL installer. I really enjoyed doing it. It was a fun little scene. My agent at the time had wanted me to pass on the audition because it was a co-star role and not a guest star role, which just basically means it was like a one-day thing, and it's a little, and they're like, you're doing guest stars now. I'm like, well, let me read it. If I like the scene, I'll go do it, which is good advice to remember. Like, it's about the material. It's always should be the most important thing. And I understood the tone, I felt like, and I sort of got the style of the show. And it was a really fun scene, and I did it with Lauren, and I thought that was it. And I went about my business. And then a couple weeks later, my manager got a call saying, hey, the Gilmore Girls wants to book you again. I was like, what? That's weird. And it turns out that what happened was there was another character who was another just day player who was a delivery guy, and Amy Sherman Palladino, the creator of the show, had watched a few actors audition for this part that they brought to the producer. She saw 2 or 3 of them, and she didn't like them. And she said to the casting directors, "No, I want a guy like that guy who played the DSL installer on that episode." And to her credit, I will always be in debt. Jamie Rudofsky, one of the casting directors, said, "Why don't you just hire that same guy again?" and Amy thought about it and thought that was a pretty fun idea. And so she brought me back. And then over the course of the next couple of episodes that I did, I think we both sort of, without ever talking about it, really talking just through the work, like me reading the scenes and then performing, we kind of figured out who this character was over the course of like 3 or 4 episodes, and then we really enjoyed the running joke. She enjoyed the running joke of Kirk working everywhere. So every time she needed a little scene that had some comic relief or a new spot in the town that we hadn't seen yet, she would have me pop up and working there. So I took a work away from a lot of other actors, I think. But but it was great, and I never thought I was. I never thought I would be with the show for, even one full season, much less, 25 years and counting. It's like it was a very strange experience to keep being asked back, and then all of a sudden, at some point, realize, oh, I'm a part of the fabric of this show now. Like I'm here on the show. It took me longer than it probably should have to realize that, but yeah, it's also an unusual story for landing on a show.
And it's really a kind of miraculous that it took that soon. I mean, usually it takes a while. The writers may have a vision in one direction, the actors run in one direction, but it sounds like there was a real simpatico. Like I said, you found your character, and the writers found your character within 3 episodes.
Yeah.
That's something else that usually doesn't happen.
Well, if you watch the first couple episodes I did, he's not exactly Kirk. He's a little different. I think I was trying to be a little cooler actually than Kirk ended up being. But it really is sort of like I was finding my sea legs, and it's interesting because you can't really do that, particularly with any streaming show like that. Like you couldn't create a character like Kirk today because first of all, for series for the most part, the whole season is written before they start shooting, and they block shoot so many things, and the whole thing is already constructed. But this was like a little bit almost improvisational that hey, we brought this guy on, we like him, I'm going to use more of him, I'm going to write him into the next episode I'm writing or whatever, and it doesn't really work like that as much anymore.
Yeah. Still some Cinderella stories. That's wonderful. What when you go into a project like this, you're always hoping for the best, but in the back of our minds, we kind of like, okay, maybe I can get a season out of this. When did you realize that this kind of maybe met expectations and then possibly even exceeded them?
I mean, pretty quick after the pilot aired, and then the trades, the Hollywood Reporter and Variety have very important critics who review shows, and the reviews were overwhelmingly good. The New York Times, everybody was giving it the respect that it deserved, or even early on before, the show really found its rhythm. Because that first season is very interesting, because when I watch it on the podcast, break down the episodes, the first season always, the experience with watching the first season is how can this episode get better? How can this show get better? And then the next episode, episode 3, it's better. And then 4 is better than 3. And it sort of, takes 7 or 8 episodes before it like really starts taking off. And it's kind of an amazing experience to watch it. A show develop that's really great to begin with, but even exceed 7, 8 times. I remember the first, Amy used to throw the Christmas parties at her house when she lived in LA. And I remember having a conversation with Lauren about it in the backyard I said, this thing's going to run 5 years. She thought, it might go longer. So it was kind of obvious that it had a lot of support at the network. It was a little fledgling CW kind of a thing, and we were not getting the numbers that we eventually got in season 3 and 4, but it was an upward hockey stick, and it was it's exciting to be on something like that. It's making a small noise. There wasn't a tremendous amount of pressure on us to deliver huge numbers, so that kept it alive. So, right away we knew we had something special. You just had to read the pilot to know you had something special.
Good reviews, and as far as the executives concerned, you were getting on base.
Absolutely, hitting singles all over the place, man.
Yeah, that adds up. That absolutely adds up.
Getting runners on.
For each of you, what was the craziest day you had in the Gilmore Girls set?
From there are a few, man. But
like every day.
Yeah, but there was an early one in season 1 where we're doing the Revolutionary War reenactment, and we had this oneer through the fake snow. at night, and it was a whole row of us, and we're all dressed as. It was one of the first. I mean, it was only the 4th or 5th episode I did, probably. Yeah, and the whole town, and we did a oneer walking through with all these different little points of a content, and you come out and serve soup or something to people.
I'm giving people super tea.
yeah.
Is this the one where I discover Max and Lorelai making out or something?
Maybe.
Yeah, that episode. Right.
don't know about
Right.
that.
No,
Yeah,
but I remember this. Yes.
But there was one shot, and we did. It was a long, complicated shot. I think we did something like 45 takes of that shot. I'm not kidding. Which is just unreal.
Right.
I don't mind saying that it's been a long time, but the guy who played the mayor, it's one of the reasons that Mike Winters ends up being, even though he's town selectman, he's not ever mayor. But on that episode, there was an actor. I'm forgetting his name. Really,
Is it Hiddleston or
Hiddleston
or
it's,
Tom?
No, that's right.
Dave.
Dave Huddle.
Right.
Huddleston.
Huddleston. Yes.
And he played the mayor.
We're learning a lot
and
today.
That day was so grueling that he said, I was there, and he's like, I'm never doing this show again. and he never did. I don't think I've ever said that publicly, but whatever, it's fine. You guys will keep that to yourselves, right?
Don't tell anybody.
Yeah, it was actually there was an expletive in there as well, but I left that part of it out. Never doing this.
Directed that episode.
He did. What's that?
Directed the episode. Do you remember?
I have a guess, but I don't want to be wrong. And that was really memorable because that is grueling because that snow, it's fake snow and it's like made of paper and you're breathing it in, and that many takes is really egregious. But all of the, just one more thing. Any night that we would be in the Miss Patty's,
Town hall meetings.
the town hall meetings, which you were saying a little bit ago, you always tried to get out of those scenes.
I'd call Amy and say, "Do I really need?" Luke would not want to be in.
Right.
He says, "But it's like the scene's about you and Lorelai, and you have all this dialogue." I said, "But I don't really need to be in the scene."
Scott wanted to be there less than Luke did, which was, and
It's so
and
true.
Luke did not want to be there. But those nights were they're really memorable. They were hard to shoot. They were often on a Friday because then they could just shoot until the sun came up.
Right.
And not worry about
Right.
the turnover with the actors. And all these people would be there. Sometimes it would be super hot. Sometimes it would be
120 degrees.
whatever.
We're shooting winter in the middle of August, and
it's
you're
just
in
a
there
little
just
shack. Yeah.
you're like this.
You got to be wearing winter coats.
And there's people with fans, little fans all over you.
And at some point, Liz Torres and Sally Struthers would get like punch drunk and maybe real drunk. I don't know. They would start getting loopy and start singing show tunes, and Sally would start dancing with background actors, and it would just everything would go off the rails. And those are very memorable times.
Oh yeah, that's it, man. And then we always had this big tube, this big yellow spiraling snaky, like a giant slinky covered in yellow mesh that pumped in the AC, and it always broke down. Yeah. You'd get a little relief, and you're like, and then it would break down, and you just start sweating again. It was brutal.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that would do it. Well, thank you for indulging my capricious curiosity. Before I go out there and take their questions, though, on behalf of everybody, I just want to thank you both. I want to thank you for your talents and your professionalism and for the performances you brought to these roles and your assembled careers. Both of you guys have had a tremendous body of work, and you brought so much joy and entertainment to everybody.
Well,
thank you both.
Look, I just feel, just for the record, that role, and I'm sure Sean feels the same way. I don't speak for him, but we were lucky to get those parts. That was a time when movie stars were starting to cross over into television. So, Amy fought for each one of us to be in those roles because she had a vision of each role, very specific, and you see her writing, it's very specific. All the voices are different and unique. None of them sound the same. All different rhythms and cadences, and it's just kind of a miracle of a show. And to be selected is just like the luck of my career, you know. And I just looking back on it 25 years later, the experience is surreal, and I can't believe I'm able to be in places like this with y'all. And 25 years later, Sean and I are sitting around, you know, having fun, reminiscing in front of an audience. I mean, it's just really a gift that keeps on giving. It could have gone to any number of name actors, but Amy fought for every one of us. And that's the thing about Amy, is to produce a show like this and to create a show like this and to sustain the quality the way it was sustained takes a very strong, stubborn showrunner. And that's what we had, because she fought all of these fights, you know, saying, no, I'm not going to impose that storyline. No, I'm not going to make them get together sooner. No, I'm not going to have more, you know, sex in it and all this kind of, you know what I'm saying? So that's what it takes. And that's rare. It's very, very rare. So just thank you all, you know, really. Thank you all for supporting the show. It's been, just feel very lucky.
I agree. I would just echo that briefly. It's like, yeah, I feel incredibly grateful, and you're right. She fought for all of us. For example, Kirk might have been played by George Clooney, for example, but he wasn't. She fought for me. So I really.
And I heard Clooney did want the role.
Oh yeah.
Did want the role.
He's beaten me out on more than a few, believe me. No, but yeah, it is. I'm just really grateful to be a part of it, and I in some ways, I wish I was more grateful at the time. I was a younger actor, and I was more like you. When your career kind of first starts to get going, it's often more about the next thing than the thing you have in the moment. And there are times when I think I wish that I had, like a lot of things when you're, you know, younger. I wish that I had sort of realized some of it a little better than I did.
And tomorrow, we have a private event going on with the two of you. We have, we have copies, and it was closed off, but I believe they've opened up more slots. So if anybody would like to join us at 9 o'clock tomorrow, we're doing a coffee event.
The door's open at 9. It starts at 9:30.
Yeah. Doors open at 9:30. Like I said, go to the website, check it out. I believe that there are tickets available if you want to join us in the morning.
Scott was worried he'd still be at Pilates at 9.
If I don't get it in, I'm cranky all day.
Yeah. My schedule is set 9:30. Thank you for clarifying that. So, all right. Let me jump out of here. Well, you parked up and you were there, so okay, you absolutely deserve it. Hey, first of all, what's your name?
Kennedy Isaac.
Okay, Kennedy, what do you want to know?
I want to know, this question's for both of you, about if your team Dean, Logan, or Jess. Both of you. I want to know your opinion.
I like Logan now. My test is, in 10 years, they have 3 kids. Who's, you know, and I don't want to sound so, you know, jaded, but it's like, who's more likely to cheat after 10 years of marriage and 3 kids? Is it Logan? It's like levels of dissatisfaction, because, you know, marriages are bumpy things. And mine is not like that at all. It's just like, ooh, it's beautiful. So I'm not speaking from experience. So I don't know. I just think Logan turns out better 10 years in with a couple of kids, and his inevitable success. I kind of think his success is inevitable. And I'm not so sure about Jess, you know? And that's it's so close. It's like it's a photo finish. You know what I mean? So it's like Logan by a nose, or another. No, I won't even say that. That's not children.
I'm team Rory doesn't need a man to define her. Which is both a pandering answer, and it kind of shows up Scott, because it implies that he does think that, which of course...
I'm just answering the woman's question. That's all I did.
I know. I didn't mean to do it.
Misogynist. You're a misogynist.
That's been my stock answer for that question for a long time. I don't know. I mean that in a sense, but I also like if I had to choose one, I would probably agree with that Logan's probably the best match. I don't know. Who do you think?
So say, yeah, what team are you?
What do you think?
I am Team Logan.
Most are Jess, right? Jess is the yeah, and very few Deans.
Yes. And do you have a team?
Logan.
I
Yeah.
like it.
There you go. There you go. Well, great one to start us off with. Thank you. Hey, what's your name?
Jocelyn. What you got? If you could give your character one piece of advice, what would it be?
You got to move out of your mom's house, man. You got a girlfriend, you know. You can't be hanging a sock on the door when your girlfriend's over to the basement door. Yeah, I think that would be the. I appreciate that Kirk is sort of a you know, the whole thing of Kirk is that he's like he navigates the world like a 10-year-old. You know, he's like really wants to play by the rule. Like the rules are very important to him. Following the rules are important, but he will still lie and like thinks he's being naughty when it's really weird. But you know, and so yeah, I would say step one is move out of your mom's basement.
You know how I think of Kirk sometimes is like, I think a good spin-off would be like Kirk with power. Would be like really scary, right? And funny and entertaining. Let's pitch that. Or thank you for that idea.
Good one. Thank you. Hi, what's your name?
My name is Audrey, and my question is kind of tricky, so let's see if I can figure out how to word it right. But it's about taxes, because Kirk has 3 million jobs. So what's your best guess on how he figures that out?
Wow. I think you just broke my brain.
Maybe it's just all cash.
I don't want.
You just moved to all cash and you don't report anything.
I don't want to. Yeah.
He's not reporting anything.
Yeah, he definitely cheats on his taxes. There's no doubt about that. I don't know. Oh man, I don't even like to think about that. I don't know how he would do it.
I think Luke would advise him not to report and just take cash.
Yeah, probably so.
Yeah.
Don't keep any. Don't keep. Don't keep any
bottled them.
books.
Good for that one.
Never gotten that
Fun
one.
one. Hi, what's your name?
Stevie. So I'm curious if you think that Luke or Kirk could ever be best friends, or if you think that Luke is too annoyed by Kirk.
I don't think I don't think you need to define Luke by his friendships with Kirk.
Yeah. No, I don't know that. I mean, Luke would never come to Kirk for advice. I mean,
But he would in the show where Kirk had power.
right, there you go.
And it like alone, something,
favor of something.
whatever it is. I need Christopher Hitt. You got any guy, ex-Navy SEALs you can send in?
You mean power like?
No, I mean like real power.
Not like
Kirk
magic.
is.
Not like magic.
No.
It's a different
that
fandom
that wouldn't be bad
No, I
either.
don't know about that one.
But
Yeah.
like Kirk is a politician or something.
Yeah,
Kirk,
right.
I
think he probably.
from a small.
He wants to take over for Taylor, you would imagine.
Yes, but from Stars Hollow, and then he ends up in Washington.
Oh, good.
It's like Mr. Kirk goes to Washington. I want to do that series.
I think it's possible that Kirk does consider Luke his best friend. I think that's probably true.
What do you think?
We had tender moments.
I think that Kirk would ask a lot of relationship advice, and Luke would say, just break up.
Oh, but he's very fatherly with Kirk in the Lulu advice, right? Wasn't there a scene we had?
Oh, yeah.
Very
Yeah,
nice,
yeah.
touching scene we had.
Yeah.
Who remembers it? I mean, there's people out there that know this show chapter and verse, right? And what was does it shout it out? What was the advice I gave to Kirk? Shout it from the rooftops.
There was an episode that Kirk was going to break up with Lulu, and Luke goes, "You're insane if you do that, because for some reason Lulu worships you."
Right.
And
Right.
nobody knows why. So.
Right.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, sit up front now because you're now our Wikipedia.
I've won a few Gilmore Girls trivias in hometown, so.
There's always a couple. I mean, it's an amazing fan base, the knowledge.
I think you got it. Great, thank you. Hi, what's your name?
Hi, my name's Ken. I was wondering if Kirk and Luke went to Comic-Con or GalaxyCon, how do you think that day would go, and do you think that they would cosplay as anyone?
Blowing my mind right now.
Kirk might cosplay as Luke. And Luke would not find that funny at all. I don't know. I think it's like, again, it's like the little kid thing. Like Kirk would be super into it, whatever, how we're going to do this right, and he wouldn't want to go. He would want to go do something else. Right?
Go fish or something. Yeah. Now, Jess tried to cosplay me. That didn't end well for Jess. But I think with Kirk, I'd be a little more patient or understanding.
What do you see their characters cosplaying as?
I don't know, I kind of see Kirk as kind of like, I feel like he would cosplay as like one of your other characters from like other projects. I feel like Luke would either be dragged by Lorelai or something like Lorelai would want to see everything and he'd just be like, okay. Like, you can go buy that. That's what I think, but I don't think he would cosplay as anyone. I think he'd be like, that's stupid.
I think Luke's version of cosplaying something is he'd just wear a different color hat or something. That's the extent of it. Or he wouldn't wear plaid. It would be like one color.
Good meta question. Thank you. Hey, what's your name?
Krista. Hi. Was there ever something your character did that annoyed or angered you yourselves? Like you were embarrassed or frustrated with them?
Yeah. Not knowing what in vitro was bugged me. I didn't like any of that. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah. For me, it was just physical stuff that I had to do that was like the hot dog suit was not comfortable to wear. It was just like planks of wood. It's resting on my shoulder. That whole thing. I hated doing that. Same with I had to learn how to walk on stilts, which was fun, but I was like, there's 3-foot stilts and 5-foot stilts, and they're like, no, we're doing the 5-foot, and I'm like, how much do you really need to see this in order to shoot it? And it's like, you really have to learn. So like, I really learned to walk on stilts. So yeah, for me, it was always like just being lazy and stuff I didn't want to do. But in terms of being in character, I don't think so. Although I would go back to looking at season 7 after Amy and Dan were off the show, because there may have occasionally been things there that were like, it was like just off,
The hot dog suit brought great joy to that set. Yeah. I can't even begin to, I mean, he was suffering, he really truly was, and we cared, but not that much. It's like, but you're bringing so much joy, just suck it up, Buttercup, And it was just so great to see him all day in a hot dog suit. And that's, look, if you're down in the dumps, get a hot dog suit and wear that thing, and it'll just bring joy.
I've said before that I wore a metaphorical hot dog suit for the entire run of that's kind of what I did in a cosmic sense. I was always wearing a hot dog suit.
Fun one, thank you. Hi, what's your name?
Hi, I'm Danielle, and I wanted to ask, so for Rory's baby, what do you think Lorelai would have demanded Luke be called because she would not let you be called Grandpa? And what would Kirk insist to be called for little Rory's baby?
I mean, not Grandpa, no way. Pappy? Pops?
Yeah.
Man, I don't know. Papa Luke?
I know. This is why I didn't write the show. But I agree with you that Kirk would demand to be called something, and I don't. If you have a good suggestion.
I heard somebody back here say Captain Kirk.
Uh-oh. Yeah. Don't say that. Shatner's going to storm in here, man. reclaim his turf. You don't know, that guy's scary.
Yeah, I don't know. Kiki.
All right. You stumped him. Good job. All right. Hi, what's your name?
Megan. Hi. I was wondering if it was ever difficult for y'all to adjust to the fast-paced talking on the show.
Never. No. Ridiculous question. Never. It was easy as pie. Next. Yeah. No, it was, no, come back. I was kidding. Love you. I don't know.
I enjoyed doing it. I mean, sometimes it was like a little bit like you'd get the note to pick it up and it'd be like, really still? Like I'm already doing it really fast.
That's the only note you'd get, by the way. It was like, can you do it faster? It's like, no. But I'll try.
I remember early on that there was an episode. I can remember it was the episode Kirk was working in a like video store, and I remember there was like it was one of the first episodes I'd done, and there were a couple of places in there when I wanted to take longer pauses for the sake of the comedy. I thought it worked better to like have a little bit more of a pause, and so I did that when I performed it, and then when I saw the show when it was on the air, they edited those pauses out completely, and it didn't work at all. It was like a scene that I was like, oh, that's not funny at all. And then I kind of knew from then on, like, I have to do this. I have to like understand how fast it needs to be, and I need to pace it properly to like hit the jokes and have the rhythm be correct and stuff like that. I can't just like I have to figure this out.
Right. Right. So for editing purposes, I think, the Amy and Dan's brains are like, give it to us. We know we have choices in editing that are pauses and slower, but give it to us at hyper speed so we have those choices that we can go to, so we can design a scene and pace a scene and structure a scene in the way we see it, and in different types, in different ways, so we can make a choice how it works best. I mean, I think they work on that level. So they know they had the slower pace stuff with the pause, because you see a lot of the show, not all of it is super, super fast. It's like a lot of the Lorelai and when it's supposed to be fast, it's really fast. But it's not all like that. It's like there are pauses. There are dramatic pauses in it, and there are pregnant pauses, and there's also for the humor to really pop, there has to be those things. So that exists in the show, because people that haven't seen it say, well, it's also fast. No, not all of it is, So it's layered. It is layered.
Great question. Thank you. Hi, what's your name?
Taylor. What you got? My question was, what are your honest thoughts on Taylor Dozy?
Just a dynamo. Michael Winters is a dynamic actor. I loved working with him every second. And he, if you want to watch somebody who is a polished stage actor and really commits to a character and isn't trying to be likable, but just trusts the material, that's your guy.
Yeah.
I mean, just a brilliant performance. And I just can't say enough good things about him. He brought so much to that show. I mean, just a brilliant, brilliant performance every time you saw him. I mean, to see his joy in a town hall meeting when he was in charge, the way he would gloat and preen it was just brilliant what he did. So I love the man. Just love the man.
I think Mike Winters, I totally agree, and I think in a lot of ways, I think he's the single most underrated actor on the whole show, because he would have, he would have reams of dialogue, just like a lot of the other actors did. But at least, Lauren, Alexis, and Scott and Kelly they have moments of like depth and drama and more layers to what they did. Mike would often just have 2 pages of exposition with jokes thrown in, and just like all the time. Plus, he's playing a character that's not super likable. So like when you say, who's your favorite character on the show? A lot of people, his character is supposed to be kind of annoying. So, when you're really good at that, you're not kind of like right at the forefront of consciousness. But he's carrying the ball in a lot of those scenes, when those town hall scenes, and a lot of the stuff in the town, he's doing so much heavy lifting, and he's just an unbelievable actor.
Yeah, he's a force of nature.
Yeah.
I mean, just watch
great
him.
dude.
Watch him in his scenes, man. He's just carrying everything. It's just beautiful to watch that guy. I mean, he's so connected in every single moment. You know, he doesn't miss a chance to really fill something with behavior, a gesture. I mean, it's amazing to watch him. I love watching him.
Great question. Thank you. Hi, what's your name?
Brooke. How was filming a film by Kirk, and how was like for the other cast watching it for the first time?
It was really something. It was. You've seen it now. I mean, first of all, it was cool to be to have these actors that I was familiar with their work, like Marilyn Reichskov and the great John Polito. And to like have them all of a sudden show up and just be in this weird scene. They weren't characters on the show, and so that part of it was fun. And then the dance was just like, they were just like, let her rip, Sean, And I was worried about getting tired out because I like, it's exhausting to do that dancing over and over again. And like, I just kind of went for it. I mean, of the thing, everything you ever hear on the show was scripted. Like everything is verbatim all the time. But I had some comedy stuff that were physical routines that none of that's like, that was just like Amy and Dan saying, just do your thing. And I'm like, all right, I'm a weirdo. So, yeah, it was a lot of fun to shoot, but I'm glad it exists out there in the universe.
Great one. Thank you. I'm afraid we're just about at time, so have to be our last question. So, what's your name?
Stetson.
What you got for us?
All right, my question is Sean, what is your favorite Kirk side hustle? And Luke, when are we gonna? Is there any chance that we're gonna see a new thing coming where we see Grandpa Luke?
Favorite side hustle? I don't know. What did I like? Yeah, I mean, it is. It's like it goes back to the last question. It's like making movies, for sure. I think Kirk considers himself a great auteur. So yeah, I think that would be my favorite thing to do is making the films.
The pure joy of a film by Kirk is just, I mean, it's just it's a belly laugh every single time. It's the funniest thing. I'm sorry. What the question, Grandpa? What about? I don't know. I mean, don't quote me on this. I know Amy, and I've told a lot of people this at the table because they asked me this question. Amy mentioned something about if there was going to be something at the Paley Festival, right? She was being fed at the Paley Festival about a Christmas special or something like that in the future, but I don't have any information. I don't know. Lauren kind of parroted that as well in an interview. So I don't know. I don't think people leak that kind of stuff without some kind of intention. So I'm hopeful, maybe we'll do a Christmas special and we'll all be on ice skates. Who knows? I don't know. But it would be nice, right? You guys would like it, I'm sure. We'd like it.
Do you guys have any upcoming projects that you may be allowed to share with us?
I've been authorized to say that I'm kind of in Superman, and then
we know for sure you're in Peacemaker.
I was going to say,
yeah.
yeah, and then that character is introduced, so I have some DCU projects coming up, and doing a second season of Creature Commandos at some point. And, I love working with my brother when I can, so there'll be some more of that.
Right on.
The projects that I am involved in are on the business side, and they're ramping up, and I have a co-branding relationship with Warner Brothers, and we're bringing a lot of products, food products and drink products to market, and that's keeping me very, very busy because we just had a big conference call with them, and they just threw, 40 SKUs at us, and we're just got to deliver. So, but we can handle it, and we're handling it, and that's growing exponentially. And as far as acting projects, no, nothing really on the horizon. I'm kind of ramping that back, because I want to stay home more and be with my family, and I have a 10-year-old, so I want to be there for him and not be on the road so much. And these are great things to do because it's a weekend every once in a while away, and it's not this huge chunk of time. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Business stuff.
And one final question: would you like to take a picture with this wonderful audience?
Sure.